Hello, everyone. Welcome to a brand new episode of Should You Take That Case? And the goal here, as always, is to be a resource for legal professionals like yourselves who pursue medical cases by sharing their experiences and insights as defense or plaintiff attorneys. I'm your host, Lisa Wade, legal nurse consultant, owner of Wade Nurse Consultants. Here we are. Think of us when you have those legal, those medical records that come in, those tons of records that come in for your personal injury or med mal cases, and uh, you need those records translated into normal human language. So we use this as an opportunity to get to know one another, and we're going to do that today with our guest Janet Scott. But before Janet comes, we are going to travel over to this chat, see if anybody's visiting us live today. Put an A in that chat if you are an attorney, a P if you're a paralegal, an L if you're a legal assistant, but put a W if you're part of that group that's near and dear to my heart, Women Owned Law. It is a groundbreaking group created to connect and advance women legal entrepreneurs. So visit us at womenownedlaw.org if that is an organization that sounds interesting to you. So I want to thank everybody that is catching us live or catching us on the replay. Thank you for taking time out of your very busy days to be with us. And now it's time to announce our guest for today. Janet C. Scott is a native of Atlanta, Georgia, and began practicing law in 2007. And she is cum laude graduate of Spelman College and holds a Master of Arts degree in education from Mercer University. A graduate of Atlanta's John Marshall Law School, she has practiced law in several areas, including criminal, education, employment, entertainment, insurance, defense, nursing home abuse, personal injury, premises liability, and wrongful death. And presently, Attorney Scott is practicing a practicing attorney at C. Felton LLC, where she litigates personal injury, wrongful death, premises liability, and nursing home abuse matters. And let me bring out Janet Scott. Almost here. There you go. Hello, Janet Scott.
Hello, thank you for having me.
Oh, well, you see, we roll with these technical issues. So, you know, as long as we can hear you, it's a little connection over the phone, but I think it's working out.
Great, great.
All right. All right. Well, we want to talk to you about what we talk to everybody about on on the show about medical records and what the heck you do with all of those records when they come in. But first, we want to hear more about you. Tell us what led you to be an attorney, what led you to this area of law you're practicing, and go as far back as you want, even to the crib, and tell us how it all started.
Well, I actually I've always wanted to be an attorney since high school. And so the wanting to be an attorney started in high school. I just kind of didn't want to take the LSAT during college, didn't really have any attorneys in my immediate family, so I didn't have the guidance I needed. And so I got to the end of college and hadn't taken LSAT, so I started teaching, and I've got my master's degree in education, but still had that passion of going to law school. So I went to law school probably in about 2003, and it's been that legal journey ever since. And I've practiced in a variety of areas, from education law through criminal law to now personal injury. I did some personal injury when I was in law school, but I've always liked this area, and so that's where I am today.
Oh, well, it sounded like a winding, twisting road, an interesting journey, but you made it.
Correct.
All right. Well, now tell us a little bit about how you get your cases or how you decide whether a case is a good case for you to take. Tell us how you decide.
Well, I look in a crystal ball. No, I'm just kidding. There's no magic to it.
Oh, I was going to ask you, where do you get that ball?
I wish there was. I know a lot of attorneys wish we had like a little crystal ball. We could just look and see into the future and how the case is going to be, but there is no such thing. And you wish you could take every case, but really, just because there's just so much out there and so much that you need to do day to day with the case, you can't take everything. So you have to kind of scrutinize the cases carefully. When you get a call specifically dealing with a medical malpractice case or anything dealing with a personal injury, you want to first listen to the person that calls you about their case, and you want to find out what brought them to this issue or what problem they had, what injury they had, how has it impacted their life. And then you also want to do, I know what you have me on here to talk about is, look at those medical records. You got to look at those medical records and determine if there is something that maybe went wrong during the treatment. And so you kind of look at that and decide if this is going to be something that you can really sink your teeth into and help the person come out better than they were when they first called you on the phone.
Well, you sound like a very good listener.
You got to be. Yeah, that's one of the things. That's one of the things I do. I just kind of listen to what people have to say and then see if there is a way that I can help them out.
All right. Sounds like a good place to start. Now, you brought up those records. When those records start pouring in, and is there a special way that you have to process them or a protocol you use to dive in and get all the juicy details that you need to find out if you have a case or what that case is?
Well, it's basically just like reading a book. You start from the beginning and you work your way through the medical records, and they can be as voluminous as 2 or 3 pages. If it's simply, a motor vehicle accident where the person only treated at an emergency, an ER room, or it can be something where people had an extended stay over a period of months, and it could be thousands of pages worth of the records. But you try to take your time and go through those records, and you kind of learn as you go with taking these cases, the different injuries. You do research on the different injuries and the medical terms, and then you also find, if you need to, a medical professional that can kind of look at the records as well, and verify whether or not there is something that happened that maybe should not have happened.
All right, that's good. It's always good to have backup.
Right.
And what do you find when you start looking through those records? I know you said you learn case by case a little bit more, but is there something you find very puzzling or bothersome, or what is your pet peeve about dealing with those records?
I think one of my pet peeves is if it's not in chronological order. If I get the record, then the records don't seem to go in a chronological order. And one of the things that is my pet peeve today, but it's just, the way that we are today, is if the records usually come to us in a digital format. So you have to read them on the computer, and that can be cumbersome, going through those records and getting through those records that way. I mean, we can always print them out, but if it's thousands of pages, you don't want to necessarily print them out. So it's a time-consuming process, but you just have to be patient and go through the records carefully.
Well, I understand those digital records, those EMRs. Even if you print out a page is not necessarily a page. So, it doesn't fit right in that regular format. So I understand it is difficult kind of sorting through them and understanding what's the beginning, the middle, and the end. Well, you have given a lot of good information and a lot of good advice. I'm just trying to see if there's anything that you missed, any uh, extra tips that you have for newbie or veteran attorneys when it comes to deciding if they should take these medically related kind of cases that come their way.
I will give some points, and I didn't talk about this, but when I am going through the records, I like to take notes and jot down page numbers, especially if it is a digital record. So I like to take notes as I'm going. If I print it out, I do like to highlight, and I love my sticky notes. So I will put sticky notes and tab my pages. I am very exact about that. That is something that is one thing that I have to do is put those little sticky notes or, so that I know where something is that I found. And I'll even I'll just put my notes on the sticky notes so that I can remember what I'm reviewing or what I've read. And then one thing I would say is always keep in touch with, if you're going to take a case, keep in touch with the person, the potential client, and find out what's going on with them in their lives, and make sure you understand how the injury has impacted their life and what they could do before that they can't do now, or unfortunately, if it's a wrongful death, how has it impacted the family or the person, that's bringing the wrongful death claim. You want to know those things. You want to remember the humanity of it all, because of course, sometimes we're dealing with paper so much that we forget that there is a person that we are representing, and we're helping them deal with something that could be a traumatic experience in their life. So you always want to remember the humanity of it all. Don't get so caught up in the paper, but remember the humanity. So that's the advice I could give.
That is good. That is good, and good human advice. So I know it's good to know what is happening with people, what's happening right now. I know the case is the case, and it's about what happened in the future, or happened in the past. But you want to know how they're doing right now, and how that's going to affect them later on. So that seems like good information to have while you're pursuing those cases.
Definitely is, Lisa.
All right. Well, you have given wonderful information, and now it's time for a little Q&A. If anybody's out there catching us live, to get some questions ready for Janet and get ready to put them in the comments box. Are you ready to answer any questions?
I'm ready.
Woohoo! So while folks are getting those questions together and placing them into the chat, it's time for what I call a tiny sponsor break, where I tell people about Wade Nurse Consultants and what we can do for you here. And then we'll be right back to Janet. Now, without that review and summary of the medical records, it could be harder for you to know if you should take that case as a personal injury or a medical malpractice attorney. And here at Wade Nurse Consultants, we give a 1 to 2 page synopsis and opinion regarding the merits of those types of cases by using my 30 plus years of nursing experience to make quick work of medical case screenings. So if you're watching this and you have a giant backlog of screenings to catch up on, or there's an issue where you need to get clarity on a particular medical issue to help free yourself to focus on your legal strategies, this is what you do. Please, I'm going to put inside the YouTube channel description box the link to schedule a free 20-minute medical record strategy call that's going to help you hone an efficient, timely, and cost-effective routine around your medical case screening. So find that link and click on it and schedule that call. And now we're back to Janet. Time for Q&A. Let's take a peek, Janet. Have they bombarded us with questions today? Not yet. So that happened. Huh?
I don't see any.
Well, it's true. It's true. But that happens. It happens sometimes because people like to catch us on the replay when they're on the train, going home, getting relaxed. So, this is what I do. I will put your contact information in the description box of this YouTube channel or into this chat, and I'm going to let people call you with their questions. Will you be ready?
Great, I will be.
All right. Well, we got a plan here. So I think since we don't have any questions today, I think we're kind of winding up. But I have one question for you, Janet. Will you come back again?
Sure, I would love to come back. If you will have me, I would love to come back. Thank you so much, Lisa.
Lovely, lovely. So I just give people that are listening a few reminders to like this show, subscribe to this YouTube channel, and if you have any legal nurse consulting questions, visit me or send them to Lisa at wadenurseconsultants.com. But it's time to wind down now, and catch us next week, next Monday, 5:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for a brand new episode of Should You Take That Case? And I'll see you next time. Thanks.